Hello and welcome to another SED Talk. I'm Dr. Cedric Wood right here in Dallas, Texas. And this is not going to be a lesson on psychology, or will it? Maybe a little bit. I'm not going to be talking about any of my ideas. What I want to do is very briefly just go over the situation in New York City between the Attorney General and Donald Trump. We watched with fascination at him being taken to court for inflating the value of his property, and it seemed like that was pretty bad at first. You should tell the truth. But then we learned from his sons that this is done all the time by successful people. The banks know you do it. They're happy to have you inflate the value of your property because they want to do business with you. They want to loan you millions of dollars. And if you inflate the value, then that makes them feel safe and they can go ahead and loan you the money. And he borrowed the money and he successfully paid it all back. So everything worked out fine, except for one thing. There was a lady that became Attorney General who, for some reason, just had it in for Donald Trump. She was so hurt by something he said or did that she was videotaped in 2017 saying to her crowd, "What do we want? We want to get Donald Trump. That's what we want. We're going to get him." Okay, for what? Well, the surface talk is, nowadays anyway, that he inflated the value of his property. But in counseling and therapy and in psychology, we all know that we say things that might be called surface talk, but then there's a subtext that we don't say. So I am regularly asking my clients, what is it you wish for? They'll say, you never help out with the kids. Now you might say, well, that's fairly obvious. But I want the person to say, what I wish you would do is get off of work a little bit earlier so that you can come home and help me out with the kids. But so often my clients are just berated. You do this, you do that. You never came back and did this. And sometimes I know what they're asking for, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have to say, what's the subtext? What are you wishing that he would do differently? And sometimes they can say it quickly, and sometimes they can't. So that's part of the therapeutic process, is discovering what is it that you wish he would do. Well, this phenomenon is happening right now in New York City. She is saying, we need to punish him. And then the judge went along with it. Hundreds of millions of dollars? Right off the bat, that seems incredibly punitive. So Trump is having a hard time raising the money. So his beautiful estate looks like it might have to be sold to raise the money to pay this judgment. Well, as I've watched this play out, I can't help but see the attitude in this woman's eyes. She's gonna get him. Okay, where is this attitude coming? This is not professional. It's not calm. It's not cool. It's not objective. It's very subjective. I'm feeling this rage for this man, and I'm gonna stick it to him. Well, I would like to know what that subtext is. Why? What did he do in 2015 or 2016 or maybe before then that made you so angry at him that you would rally the crowd to fight? We need to know. Because if you've got some kind of personal agenda and need for retribution, then you need to sit down with somebody for an interview and come clean and tell the truth and show good character. Good character is shown by being open and honest. And I don't think she's being open and honest with her seething, rageful attitude at Donald Trump. And so she stacked the blocks all the way up to having that judge say, convicted. Your fine will be $460 million. I mean, that's outrageous. So, this is scary that people are being put into power in America with a very flawed character. Now, what's interesting here is Donald Trump himself has a flawed character. I would like to talk to him one-on-one and say, stop saying these incendiary things, President Trump. Just don't use words like bloodbath and hates their religion. That is hyperbole, and there's no need for that. If you want to get elected, don't use that kind of language. Who in your life is willing and able to monitor you and make sure you don't say things like that? It could put your road to the presidency in jeopardy. Do you want that? No? Then stop saying things like that. But back to this Attorney General, she needs to, I guess it's too late now, even if she said, I'm sorry, it was a personal vendetta of mine, and so I take it back. You don't owe $464 million. I guess it's too late for that, but talk show hosts and bloggers need to stand up and say, this is an example of extreme egopathy. Yes, look it up. She is being very egopathic. And there was probably something that President Trump did that was a little egopathic that triggered her into this. But we've got to be more mature than this. Both of them have to find more maturity. Thank you for listening. That's what I had to say. Maybe it will help things go better. I am Dr. Cedric Wood. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.